How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. I got a quick little installation video for a chain slash bash guard from OneUp components. I've been having this issue, especially at Snow Summit, where this chain keeps popping off, especially on really chunky sections or even on brake bumps. The chain just pops up from the front. And a couple of friends recommended that I should get a little chain guide, and I went ahead and pulled the trigger on the OneUp version 2. So yeah, this is going to be pretty much my installation video on this. It's my first time using OneUp. So yeah, let's get right to it and see how it goes. Okay, here we go. So let's start off with the unboxing first. This is a OneUp components version 2. I got it at Jensen for around 80 bucks. I'm gonna go ahead and leave the link down below. Hopefully it's still available for that price. Here we go. It's pretty much the unit. It's kind of already pre-prepped for you. Looks like it already has a bash guard installed. It's a 34 tooth max one. And I think it comes with little different ones, which it does. It comes with one for 34, 36, and 30. So it looks like you have a couple options. Obviously you want to pick the one that's more compact, so that way you have a lot more clearance in the bottom bracket. It also comes with a couple little things, you know, the mounting screws, a couple washers so you can push the unit out. It also comes with a lot of nice shims that you can use to adjust your chain line to your little guide. And this kit actually comes with a little shim tool. It kind of tells you how many shims you need to kind of, you know, align your chain guide. So we're going to use this later on. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I have my torque specs all set up on the iPad. In case you want to know how many teeth you have on your chain ring, there's usually written either on the outside or in the inside. In my case, it's on the outside. It says 30 tooth. So I will be using the smallest bash guard, so that way I can keep it really slim. Unfortunately, I already have one on here. This is for my old bike. It only had the bash guard. It didn't have the guide. So what I'm going to do, I have to take this off. And one of the reasons I like the OneUp is that you don't have to take off your cranks. You can just slide it out since it has a pretty nice cut there. Slide it in, put the bolts in through the holes like that. Okay, so I'm gonna turn off the camera now and take off the old bash guard, and we'll get back when we have to install this. Okay, so the old bash guard is off. I put the cranks back on there. I figured if someone's watching this video, it's probably their first time installing a bash guard. So I'm gonna go ahead and put myself in the situation like it's my first time putting a bash guard on. Okay, so the first thing I wanna do now, I know that I have a 30 tooth chain ring. So I'm gonna go ahead and put on the 30 tooth bash guard. So let's start with that. Okay, so it looks like it was a 5 mil. Start taking that off. There you go, there's one. Set to the side. And it looks like the OneUp kind of thought of a great idea. They put a retainer clip just in case you ever lose this bolt. This bolt will not come off with the without the retainer clip coming off first. So that's pretty good of them. It's a very smart idea. And it looks like you have to lift up and then push out. This one comes out. And it exposes this bolt. So that's pretty cool that they did that. So that way you don't lose this completely. I like that. Okay, so here we go. It's off. Get our 30 tooth. Slap that baby right on there. Put on the first bolt by hand. Every time you work on anything, cars, bikes, whatever, always start the bolt off by hand, so that way you could avoid stripping. There you go. There's one. Okay, they're both by hand. And according to my torque sheet, it says that it's 6 Newton meters. So we're gonna go ahead and set my torque wrench to 6 Newton meters. So let's go ahead and torque that down to spec. There's the click. There you go. The retaining clip pops in there pretty good. Boom. Now we're all set to go. Okay, so before I go over to the bike, I went ahead and loosened up the guide. I want to go ahead and loosen that up so I can get to this bolt. And this bolt allows the guide to slide up and down. So that way I can adjust it pretty close to the chain. Actually, let me see. Let me show you something. Let's see, try to get under the light real quick. So once you loosen that up, you can see that where the chain needs to be lined up, the chain has to be running around this little area. So that's why it's good to loosen that up and have some flexibility of adjusting it up and down. Okay, so for this next step, it's going to be pretty much whatever feels good for your bike. If I were to use no spacers, this would definitely hit my rear triangle. It just caused a lot of problems. The kit does come with a bunch of like washers. So it looks like I'm going to be running the washers behind to get enough clearance to clear the rear triangle and make sure it doesn't hit. So let's go ahead and put the washers in and the bolts and see how that goes. There you go. So put that in there. I'm going to try to line up a hole that goes through the chain ring. go. Just get the top one on first and then work on the other ones. Okay, I was able to go through the holes and pretty much start the bolts off. You want to leave them loose because you still want to mess around with the angle of this. Make sure it doesn't hit your frame, which mine doesn't. Pretty good. All right, so let's move on to the next step. We're going to go ahead and put the chain back on it. Move this out of the way. It's on there. Put a couple cranks in, make sure that the chain's nice and settled in. So it's all settled in. So my bike, it's at a little bit of angle. It's not, you know, like level in the ground. So you want to keep this at a 12 o'clock, but this chain guide also has a little logo of a chain inside here. You can't really tell. Let me see if I can open this up. There you go. See, let me see, try to zoom in on that. I don't know if you guys can see that little chain logo. So you kind of want to line that up to where the chain is running through, and that's how you know where your angle is at. So see, you kind of try to match it up. You also kind of want to match it up to where the chain's about to go onto the chain ring. So that's, you know, like at the 12 o'clock position on the bike. But yeah, they added that little guide so you can have something to like align it to. It makes it a little bit easier. You don't have to eyeball it too much. That's as far as I can go forward. I think that's going to work just perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten up the base bolts now, and I believe that's going to be under 5 Newton meters. So let's go ahead and do that now. There you go, all set, torque down. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to use this tool. So it looks like pretty much I don't need any spacers in mine. If I put any more, it's going to be hitting the chain from the inside of the guide. But I'm going to go ahead and show you how this works if you had enough space. Okay, so this is a little hard to show on camera, but what this little tool does is once you take off the guide, it tells you how many shims you need. See how there's little steps? So I can just slide in. It slides in pretty good on the 0. So I need 0 shims to make this work. If my chain was a little farther out, it will go to the next step, will be 2 shims, next step 3, 4, you know, so on and so on. So I'm pretty lucky that I don't need any shims, you know, according to the little guide. So I'm pretty good. So no shims, slap this back on, and then, you know, just mess with the height, and I think I'm pretty much done. Okay, and what you want to do on this is there's a little bolt that goes through here, obviously, and that kind of like hovers above the chain. You want to get as close as possible to on top of it, so that way the chain doesn't have anywhere to go, like past the chain ring and fall off. So you want to get this as close as possible. I have the 32th, I think I just have to go all the way to the bottom out. Since I know that now that I have to bottom out, I'm going to go ahead and just slide this out again and tighten out the little slider bolt. It's right there. Looks like I'm going to have to take my chain off. Okay, hopefully you see what I'm talking about. I had to take off the little chain to give me space to work with, and I believe that is torqued down to 3 Newton meters. So let's set this down. Let's set my torque wrench to 3 Newton meters. Slide it in there. There you go. It's all set to go. Now we're hitting, you know, the light at the end of the tunnel. So the chain goes back on there. Put some tension on there. Give it a couple spins. Good to go. Okay, we'll slide the guy back in there. Now we just torque that down. I believe that's 3 Newton meters as well. Start it by hand. Torque that baby down. And it's all torqued down, ready to go. And that's pretty much it. Kind of completes the installation video to this. You want to still give it a couple spins, make sure it's not rubbing, which is not right now. I'm going to go to the eagle, make sure that that's not rubbing. And it looks like it just has like 1 millimeter. So it's really, really close to hitting, but it doesn't hit on my situation. That's pretty dang close. Okay, so that's pretty much it on the installation video. Hopefully this video helped out somebody or helped somebody out. It definitely takes a little time to adjust things here and there. But once you get it all dialed down, I think you give your product a really high chance of performing well. So yeah, thank you for watching again, and we'll see you guys out on the trails.